Hello guys, I've been wanting to make a video like this for a while. I haven't posted for a couple of weeks now because I had surgery. My voice is not very good, but I'll try my best. Let's talk about difficulty. We've already had 4 weeks of Pantheon and we're just a few days away from the final shape. So I think it's the right time to talk about Destiny 2 difficulty. Is Destiny too hard? Or is Destiny too easy? Or maybe it's both? First, let's define difficulty. The Cambridge Dictionary tells us that difficulty is the fact of not being easy to do or understand. So, is Destiny hard to do or understand? Well, I think it depends a lot on the person you ask. Something can be hard for me and easy for you, and vice versa. So, in order to give a concrete answer, let's try to base our opinion on data. Malcolm Gladwell is a journalist that wrote a book named Outliers, where he talks about the 10,000-hour rule. Gladwell repeatedly refers to the 10,000-hour rule, asserting that the key to achieving true expertise in any skill is simply a matter of practicing, albeit in the correct way, for at least 10,000 hours. I don't know if I agree with the 10,000 hour mark thing, but one thing I agree for sure is time spent in one area correlates to your expertise in that area. In Portugal, we have a saying, practice makes perfection. I remember a video from Kobe Bryant talking about waking up early so he could practice more time. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the best football players ever and is known for his work ethic. So we can conclude that more time spent on Destiny should make you a better player. But here comes the tricky part. Malcolm Gladwell in his book talks about practicing in a correct way. But what's the correct way in Destiny? For example, imagine this scenario. You need a 6th player for a raid team, and you have 2 choices. Player 1 have 10,000 hours of Destiny, but he only does patrols and strikes. That's it. That's all he does. Player 2, he only have 100 hours of Destiny, but he already did all raids twice. Which one do you pick? I'm picking player 2. Even though he doesn't have much experience with Destiny, he's more experienced in the activity I want to do, opposite to player 1. So for me, I would advise players to look at Destiny like a small staircase. And the journey tab is actually a good idea. First step, get used to the controls. Second step, do the campaign, seasonal missions, activities, and then try the end game. And let's talk now about the end game. What's end game? What are the hardest activities in Destiny right now? For me, it's content in Master raids, Master dungeons, and Grandmasters. Even though Grandmasters put you at the power level of -25, I still think Master raids are way harder than Grandmasters, because in raids you have mechanics, ad clear, timings to do stuff, sometimes more than one mechanic at a time, so you need to rely more on your team. You need open communication, boss DPS, a lot of stuff go into raids. In Grandmasters, generally speaking, especially this season, you can nuke everything with Polaris Lance, so it's very, very different. And while I talk about difficulty, we need to talk about the cheese. A lot of our difficult content can be cheesed, making it very easy. A lot of players, they are so used to the cheese that they don't know how to do it normally. Riven is the perfect example for this. I was checking some stats on warmine.io, and as you can see, you have more than 700,000 conquerors this season, and we have around 100,000 God Slayers so far. That's a big difference. But why? Look at this graphic about Pantheon. Each week, Pantheon becomes harder with extra bosses and extra decrease in power level. So at week 1, our power level is -5, week 2 -10, week 3 -15, and week 4 -20. And you can clearly see that the problem for most players is the increase in the negative power level, because most bosses are the same, mechanics are the same. You can choose Atrax, Rulk, Riven, Kinda, Nazarek. So the difficulty is being able to kill enemies and survive at -20. But why? Well, because people don't have experience at this difficulty level. Check this. For Crota on normal you have 1.5 million completions, but on master you don't even have 300,000. And you can cheese Crota on master. You can do a finisher and throw him off the map. Check Root of Nightmare. 3 million completions on normal mode. On master you don't have 100,000 completions. It goes from 3 million to less than 100,000. Same for King's Fall, more than 3 million completions on normal, master not even 100,000. On Vow, you have a little bit less than 3 million completions on normal, and you have a little bit more than 100,000, but kind of the same. Vault of Glass, almost 7 million completions, guys. Almost 7 million completions on normal. But for master, 200,000 for against 7 million, almost 7 million on normal. So you can clearly see that players are doing raids on normal but not on master. Why is that? Yes, it's more difficult, but I think there's another reason. Loot. Master raids are just not rewarding enough. In terms of loot, we get adept weapons, but we can get the red borders to craft them from the normal version of the raid, and we can choose and enhance those perks. On adepts, we will be able to enhance them on the final shape, but you can't choose the perks, it's random, and a lot of players don't like to spend hours relying on RNG. So luck. And if you're like me, my friend, you'll never have God rolls. The other big reason most players do master raid is the seal. We do the challenges on master, one each week, and that's it. So many times I did challenges on master difficulty, and when we finish the encounter, there's always one player that says, I'm never doing this again. And Bungie should really think about this. You have an amazing activity in the game that most players don't even try, and the ones that try do it once and that's it, never again. So Bungie needs to make master raids more rewarding. Imagine normal mode is where you learn the mechanics, and then master is where you test your skill, your builds, your knowledge, you get amazing loot, you get rewarded for your time, for your dedication to the game. That would be amazing. And time is such a big factor for players. So many times I've asked players if they wanted to do a raid, and some players I ask, they have 0 clears, I don't mind. And normally the reply is, oh no, I don't have time. It's not I don't know what to do, is I don't have time, because they think they're going to spend like 5, 6, 7 hours, and a lot of that is because of day one completions. They think that the normal completion is the day one experience, so because they don't know what a raid is, they think it takes like 10 hours to do. And I really truly believe that if Bungie rewarded your time a little bit better, especially on raiding, people would want to do more raids, because it's such a good experience, guys. I love raids, and it's such a good experience. Clearly, Bungie puts a lot of effort in doing cool raids, so they need to reward people a little bit more. By doing that, by making players do more raids on master, players will be better, will have more practice at this type of content, their movement will be better, they'll approach certain scenarios in a different way. It will be easier to find better players, because I know if you don't have a specific group, LFG can be a nightmare. Players will understand their builds better. You know, it just, if players are used to do tougher content, the overall experience will be a better experience. But again, the question was, is Destiny too hard or too casual? Everyone will have a different answer, and I hope you can give me your answer in the comments about what you think. Is the game too hard or is the game too easy? In my opinion, the early game should be a little bit harder, so new players start to adapt faster. And I think Bungie is already doing this, because if you go to Neomuna to do a patrol, the difficulty is already at a fixed power. In terms of in-game, I would lower it just a small bit. Why? The gap, guys. The gap between a casual player and the top player is huge. The knowledge, the skill, such a huge gap. You have players soloing raids, and you have teams of 6 players that can't pass the first encounter of a raid. So the gap is abysmal. By increasing the difficulty of the early game and decreasing just a small bit the end game, the gap becomes smaller, making it easier to find players for endgame. Because one thing that's very difficult right now in Destiny is to find the right team. When you see players doing day 1 raids, you think they are playing with their friends? No, lots of them spend weeks in advance trying to find the right team. And I get it. The better the team, the higher the chances they have of succeeding. But on the other side, Destiny is better played with friends. But your friends, they don't all play the same way. At least mine don't. Sorry guys, but you know it's true. So with these changes, it would be easier to have these amazing raiding experiences with your friends and still have a nice and challenging game. Because endgames need to be challenging. If it's too casual, people will lose interest. And honestly, it's the only way a game can survive more than 10 years. But I need to say this. Bungie, if you're listening, you probably aren't, but if you are, you can't make a game just for the top 1%. If you make a game just for the top 1%, only the top 1% will play your game. And you don't want that. At the same time, if you make it too casual, players will stop playing, you know. So think about the top 20%, 15-20%. If you think about those players, completion rate, all that good stuff, I think you'll be able to reach a perfect spot for Destiny. But guys, I've been talking for too long now, so I want to know your opinion. What do you think? Is the game too hard? Is the game too casual? Is the game just right? Let me know in the comments. And I would like to finish this video with one thing, saying that even if we wanted the game to be different, harder, easier, doesn't matter, we all love this game. It's been 10 years, a decade playing this game. I had so many good experiences with this game. So guys, Bungie, to you, thank you. Thank you so much for making Destiny.